Cutie Pies. I'm Lanikia, and you're watching What Happens on the Soaps. This is General Hospital Edition. All right, so just getting right into it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I gotta give it. It was solid. We'll give it an 8. Just moving people out of the way, so that we can get everyone who ties together in the story. So we see Spencer talks on the phone and he's telling Cam, if you know it's good, like to keep quiet or whatever, don't tell what's going on. And Esme overhears and she's like, "What are you talking about?" And he says, he and Cam got into a fight because he was defending her, and if Cam knows what's good for him, he'll stay quiet. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, you fought for me?" Girl, anyways, so Spencer tells her, "I have to go," and she says, "Where you going?" And he says, "I have to do my restitutions at the museum, and I'm going late so I can avoid talking to Trina and Ava." And she was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for doing that for her and everything." So then Spencer leaves, and we see that Nicholas is in the living room, and he set up a nice romantic dinner and everything for Ava. But she says, "Listen, be running late," or she pretty much tells him, "Don't wait up for me. I'm not coming home. Don't wait up for me." So he gets all upset and he smashes the table. And Esme was like, "Oh my gosh, Ava just doesn't I know what you're sacrificing for her and how much you care for her. And it's all my fault. I'm going to leave." And he was like, "No, it's not your fault." And then Esme said, "We deserve good love," and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, girl, I'm not going to hold you on this. But anyways, they're all close up, and I'm like, "Nicholas, you can't be this dumb." And so Laura comes in, and Laura says, "It looks like I came in not a moment too soon." This is what she tells Nicholas later on. But she tells Esme, "Don't worry, you don't have to be holed up in Spoon Island anymore. I talked to Sonny, and he assured me nothing is going to happen to you. He's not going to do anything to you. And Sonny's word is bond. So you can go on and back." And Nicholas says, "No, they can't. They don't have anywhere to stay." She said, "My trust agent came in, and Spencer isn't making money from Spencer isn't making any money from the museum." And she said he can get his job back at Kelly's or whatever. And so then, anyways, Laura just like, "You got to go." And so she tells Laura, "Let me go tell Spencer the great news. Thank you so much." Laura's like, "Mm-hmm." And so Esme leaves out, and Laura tells Nicholas, "What are you doing? This girl is playing you." And he says, "It's not like that," or whatever. And she said, "Nicholas, you don't see that she's playing you? You got a scorpion in your house, and you need to get her out of your house before she poisons everything." And all that understanding and stuff that you showing Esme, you need to try to show it to your wife so you don't end up being without your mind. She didn't say that, but I'm paraphrasing. But anyways, that's all it was with them at the house. Laura just told him, "Get Esme out your house, sir. There's no reason for her to be here." So then we go to the museum, right? And Trina is there, right? I like this part. So Trina is there, and Rory comes in, and now she heard a noise, and she was like, "Who's?" And then it was Rory, and she says, she picks up her pepper spray or mace or whatever it was, and she says, he was like, "Oh, you know how to use that?" And she said, "Yes, and I don't know if I should put it down." He said, "Hold on, girlie. Jordan told me to come and, just check on you because all the reporters and all that kind of stuff that's been going around harassing Trina." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And so then they start talking or whatever, and he asks her, "Can I get something to drink?" And so she goes and gets him something to drink and all that. And they start talking, and I don't understand Trina, because she was like, "You might have overreacted, taking Cam and Spencer." He was like, "No, Commissioner Ashford wants us to do everything by the books, and I'm doing everything by the books," or whatever. I'm like, girl, not Trina stickler for doing stuff right, unless it comes to Spencer. But anyways, he just like, "I'm going by the law." And she was like, "I need more, people like that in my life that, follow the rules and stuff." Right. So she and Rory bonding over art, and she telling him, "What do you feel?" And he says, "The dark and the light." And Nicholas, I mean, not Nicholas, but Spencer gonna come in, and he was staring back. I said, "Yes, Spencer, you sitting over here playing games with Esme, trying to make her think, trying to get information. Well, you should tell Trina that's what you're doing, because while you sitting over there doing that, Trina over here about to fall for it." Well, they just friends, but she gonna become friends and then in a relationship with the new cop in town. But anyways, so Spencer comes through and he's like, that's called contrast, dark and like the shades and all that. And Trina said, well, you should know about shadiness and all that. And Rory like, what you doing here? And Trina said the same thing. What are you doing here? And he says, I came to work or whatever. And so Rory just tells Trina, because he had told her earlier, you could call me Rory if you ever call me. I was like, Officer Rory, that's cute. So then Rory leaves because he don't really like Spencer, because you could tell he thinks Spencer just a spoiled little guy, spoiled little rich kid that gets what he wants or whatever. So Trina says, how are you out and all that? She said, wait, did you use your grandmother to get out or whatever? And because Rory had already told him that all they did was got off with a warning, so he was like, well, he was gonna find out who she was anyways. She was like, oh my God, you're so entitled or whatever. And so that's how you got out from Portia and Rory. And he was like, Rory, oh, that's what we doing now. We on first name basis. I'm paraphrasing. We on first name basis now with them. And she was like, mind your business. What does it matter to you? And he was like, Trina, don't treat me bad, even though I deserve it. What are you talking about? What? He said, it's not you or whatever. And she was like, leave me, like, she pretty much was like, leave me alone. I'm gonna leave this stuff for you to do, and then I'm gonna go or whatever. But she didn't. She started talking to him about, he said he had to leave the house, and she said, why, you and your dad having issues? And he said, no. She said, don't tell me it's your precious Esme. And he was like, she was like, your Esme that you love so much and defend. And she was, because Trina's still upset. She like, I needed you the most and you abandoned me. And he was like, it's not what it seems and everything. But anyways, Esme came up in there as Spencer is saying, when Trina told him, your precious Esme that you love and yada yada, she's so much, so you care so much about it, and she's the love of your life. And I'm paraphrasing again. And Spencer said, she's not that. And Esme came in, she was like, hold up now. And I said, boy, baby, you better hear Esme in that background before you blow your cover. So then we go to Curtis and Portia. Ooh, Curtis, you about to mess this relationship up. So anyways, Portia just tells him, Drew told me what you did to Marshall. And he said, she was like, see, I went through with Taggart about somebody not telling me truth and all hiding stuff from me. She said, had you told me what you were looking for with Marshall, maybe I could have helped you and we would have went about it the right way. So now Marshall is gone. And she said, that wasn't right that you went behind his back for it. And he says, I know, but I have to protect y'all and everything. And she said, but no, you can't be lying to me. And she said, how'd you get the information? Now Marshall Curtis not telling her how he got the information. And I think this is going to be a problem. But they said going forward, so technically it's not a problem, but it's going to be one, about him working with Miss Wu when she finds out what he did. But I'm not in it. So Curtis is just like, Marshall has had mental illness and he made it seem something else. And she said, honestly, that's Marshall private business. And she was like, you could have went up, but she said, but now you're never going to know why he didn't just tell you the information and stuff, because you went behind his back and you ran him away or whatever. And she said, we got to have trust. And they both agreed to have trust with each other and everything. And what else they talk about? That's pretty much it. They both agree to have trust, and going forward, they're not going to hold things from each other or whatever. And I said, sir, you should have told her you working with Miss Wu because you got the information that way, because she already know you got it in an illegal way or whatever. But I don't know. I can't hold it. I can't tell. So moving right along, we see Michael, Willow, and Dante meet up, but Sam can't meet up. And Dante said she had something important to do, and they're like, okay. So Willow says, well, let me go on and let y'all two be alone. She says, I gotta check on Wiley. So while she goes and checks on Wiley, Michael Michael and Dante talking. He says, I heard about you and Sonny. And Michael's like, yeah. And he said, you want to talk about it? He says, actually, you should probably stay out of it. It's between me and Sonny. And Dante's like, I can't, okay, But later on, we see he came back, and Michael pretty much told Dante what went on. I said, I thought you were staying out of it. So then Willow comes up, and Dante gets a phone call, and he says, I gotta go. So he leaves, but before he leaves, he tells Michael, you'll always be my brother. So Michael and Willow sit down to eat and everything, and they're talking about, Sonny again. And then they say, let's just enjoy our night. And then Michael gets a phone call from Carly, and she says, get to GH immediately. It doesn't have to do with Wiley, so they wouldn't worry and everything, but you need to get over here immediately. So they're like, all right, let's go. So then we see Sasha jumps out of the car, and Gladys, and they're like, oh my god, she's dead. Is it hurt? Sasha said, Gladys said, I thought it was an animal. And so then, Lord have mercy, this is gonna be a mess. So then we see that who was it? The reporter comes up, and Sasha is trying to work on Harmony. She says, let's roll her over. And Gladys said, do you think we should touch her? She said, we got to help her. So Sasha starts performing CPR. But while she's doing this, the reporter is all like, ooh, look what you did. And Sasha says, get over there and help Gladys call the police. She needs an ambulance. So we see the ambulance, and everyone comes up, and they tell Sasha, good job keeping her going, because Harmony does come too. So they know she's not dead at that point. Then Dante comes right as the reporter is egging Sasha on, talking about, I want my memory card back, and look what you did. I could tell. And Gladys is like, you were speeding, girl. Like, you might want to pay him off or do something. And Sasha said no. And so she starts attacking no, mama, the reporter, because he brings up her child and everything. And so Dante steps in, and he makes the reporter leave or whatever, tells him go to GH hospital for them little scratches Sasha gave you. And the reporter was like, I am. So he run over to the GH hospital, and Dante tells Sasha what went on. And Sasha says, Gladys says, no, don't talk to him without a lawyer. And Dante says, you don't have to talk to me, but what went on. And Sasha just tells him what happened as far as Harmony ran out, she hit him. And so then Dante says, get her to the hospital, Gladys, because I believe she's in shock. So Sasha just tells Gladys, I'm so tired of everybody telling me how I should grieve, always exploiting me, always looking, always judging me. And she said, Sasha, what's on the memory card? And Sasha wouldn't say. And she said, don't worry, I got it. It's in my purse. And Sasha said, can I have it? And Gladys wouldn't give it to her. I said, Gladys, I know you're not about to blackmail your daughter-in-law, because if you do, Brenda gonna leave you, girl. But we'll see, because I said I think Gladys is trying to get shares in Deception or whatever. So, anyways, Carly and they all go to the hospital. So now Carly and Jordan are in a hospital room, and Jordan is like, what's going on, Carly? Why would Harmony attack you? Because Carly is telling Jordan all that Harmony did to them. Now, excuse me. Now Carly starts thinking back, and she knows, because she starts thinking back about Harmony talking about Nina and everything. I think Carly if she hasn't figured it out, she's very close to figuring it out. But honestly, I think she's figured it out. I don't think Carly gonna tell, and this gonna be a mess if Carly doesn't tell what she thinks that Harmony kidnapped Nina's baby. But I honestly don't think Carly's gonna tell, and I think that's how they're gonna set this up to be a whole mess, because I think Carly feels like if she tells, then that would bring Nina into their lives. Plus, it would be doing Nina a favor by letting her know. I don't think she's gonna tell. So anyways, so Carly doesn't tell Jordan anything about her suspicions or everything. She just says Nina just goes crazy, and she killed Brandon, and she killed Neil, and Carly tells her about finding the papers and everything. And Jordan said, Carly, is there something you're not telling me? And Carly says, I don't know what you want me to say, Jordan. That's it. But you need to find Willow and them, because Harmony is going to go after them. Because at this point, they don't know Harmony has been and has been hit in the wreck. And so, okay. So then Jordan says, stay put. And Carla was like, the heck I am. So, of course, she calls. I told you she called Michael and told him to get over. So then we see Sam with Alexis. And Sam is like, what happened? So Alexis started telling Sam what happened. And she was like, oh, my God. And Alexis was like, clearly I shouldn't have trusted her. I'm a deep voiced woman, but I'm like, whoa, ma'am, show a little emotions with that deep voice you got going on. But anyways, Sam, Carly, and Alexis all meet up, and they're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to tell Willow about Harmony? And we need to find Harmony. And so then we see that as they're doing this, TJ, they come in with Willow, they come in with Harmony or whatever, and they was like, she was hit by a vehicle or whatever, and they're like, oh my gosh. So then when they come in with Harmony, they said, Alexis and them say, how are we going to tell Willow, this is Carly, about what happened to Harmony? And so Michael and Willow come. And so they're like, Willow's like, my mom? What happened to my mom? And so they say she was in an accident. And at that time, they run Harmony through. And so when Harmony's coming through, they're like, oh my gosh. She's like, oh my gosh, what happened? And they talk about, she was in an accident. And TJ said, when I have more information, I will definitely let you know. Right now, she's in critical condition and I need to work on her or whatever. So then Willow is like, who would do this? Who would do this to my mom? And so before I get to the last part, Dante is at the hospital with the reporter, and he asked the reporter, you want to press charges on that little scratch? And the reporter is like, yes, I do. And he said, good, because I'm sure she's gonna want to press charges on harassment, vehicle endangerment, and all this other stuff. And the reporter was like, never mind. And Dante said, yeah, I thought you would say that. But then the reporter called Smokes and says, get your ATM ready. I got a story for you, so Lord. But anyway, so then getting back to Harmony has went through, and Willow was like, who would do this to my mom? Oh my gosh. And then Sasha comes in because Sasha says, I got to tell Willow what I've done. But somebody needs to tell Willow what happened, because Michael and Harmony are like, why you got scratches on you, Carly, and stuff? And they were like, were you with Harmony? And she said, no, Alexis and I were with her before. But again, they can't get it out because when Harmony comes through, Willow is just devastated by how her mom looks and everything. That was General Hospital today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for Friday's episode of GH. And then we get the weekend to take a break. All right, bye.